And welcome back to the channel. If you clicked on this video, well, you are in for a treat today. The Majesta is finally getting some love that we have talked about, I don't know, since like you've got the car. We're like, yeah, we got arms, we got this, we got that. Well, we have finally got some arms for you guys. We've got the wheels right here, which I don't know if in the thumbnail if I had it blurred or not, you know what I'm saying? Like, it might be a little surprise, but we just pulled the Majesta in. It's supposed to get nasty today, so we're gonna do the fronts first. Once that's done, turn it around, flip it, and do the rear. But here is the juiciness. Or 18 by 10 plus 0 all around. I don't know, I forgot. They're basically the same specs as the Vaugards. So super hyped about that. Just got some fresh meat on those Johnnies. Here we are. We have phase 2 motor trend. These are the rear upper control arms for a SC300, SC400, or in Japan a Soarer. The toe arm for the rear, which is SC300, SC400, or Soarer. And then we have True Heart front upper control arms, and this is for a GS300 or Aristo of the same year as the Majestas. True Heart, Megan, and phase 2. I'm just glad we're not seeing any Godspeed stuff here. Yeah, so but no, everything, I do like this new True Heart design. I haven't seen it before with this top plate. Usually they just give you the bolts on the bottom that you loosen so that you can slide it, and then like a weak nut or something up top. I forgot how it was, or it drills straight into the, I don't know. But anyways, I like this design. I think what we're gonna do is max it out, put it on the car. Just a tip and trick, if you've watched any of the other videos, you can actually flip this ball joint around, take off these 6, flip it around so that this part doesn't max out right there. Instead, it'll be right here, and then you can get more degrees of camber. You will have to watch out for the spindle hitting the coilover at that point, but if you have top hats and can push your coilover back, well,
shouldn't be a problem.
We got the front in the air. We're gonna test fit the KFs. Again, put it kind of on the ground, go slowly, show you how it fits, figure out how much camber we really need, and then we're gonna start diving into it. So it's been a long intro, but we're ready to start working, so let's get it. Start to go slow. I mean, that's all the way down, dude. I mean, the thing is, we will have to trim up the inside of the fender. I mean, that's pretty close. Doesn't seem like it. I mean, I don't know how it's gonna be when you turn, but like.
Hey man. Don't let the camera fool you. This is actually right-hand drive. This is right-hand drive, left-hand drive. Damn, B, let me get these, boy. Let me get these.
The car's already sold.
You sold it?
Yeah. Stevie Beans.
Ooh, grill on Kruger.
Are you keeping her, or?
I plan on it.
Alright, so we have the upper in already. It was actually a lot easier than I thought because I totally spaced that we removed the spindle from the upper to put in the coilover. So I just used this tie rod end puller, put that Johnny on there, tightened it down, and popped off the ball joint, the stock ball joint, and put the arm in. These arms actually fit really well. The only thing I'm usually scared about when getting aftermarket arms is these pieces right here where the bushing is in the actual arm being wider and it not fitting straight in, but it did. So I got to tighten up this side. Tyler is messing right now with some of the plastics underneath and getting those out the way because he's rubbing on it. We're gonna throw this side together. It is just 2 14s and the 17 castle nut. What I did want to show you though is right here I have an angle finder. So yes, the car is not on the ground. When it's on the ground, it'll probably give another degree or so, but I just wanted to show you the hanging difference. Right now we are showing 1 degree on stock upper control arm, and then we come over here and we put it on this Johnny and we are showing 6 degrees. So these uppers maxed out without flipping the ball joint give you 5 degrees of camber, actually 5 degrees of camber compared to the stock uppers. But once it's on the ground, I'm sure it'll be maybe around 8 or so. So that should definitely be good enough.
Hype. Very hype.
Time to knock out the other side. We'll throw it on the ground. We'll see how it fits. We also do want to lower it so that we can kind of get rid of the tire gap. As you guys saw before, there was like this much tire gap. We don't want to go fender to lip, quote unquote. We want it to look like it's fender to lip, but just be just inside so that hitting bumps and stuff, you know, he's not buckling his fender. And yeah, so let's get to it.
Yeah, so. Yeah, so.
Both sides are done. As you can see, I actually took off the bracket that originally holds this wheel speed sensor, I believe it is, onto the upper control arm. I took it off, and we're going to probably just zip tie that on. We do have to still adjust the height, and we still have to trim the inside of the fender, but we're gonna do that after we mess with the rear. I have a feeling that the rear is not gonna be that fun. So before it gets too nasty out, we're gonna put the wheels on, back it out, and then put the back end of the car in here. We'll probably get to the rears, and then after the rears are done, we will dial in and mess with the front, because we can do that at night. It's not a big issue. So that is all done. Everything is together. Now Ty's gonna throw on the KFs, and we'll see how it looks, and we'll back it out. So it definitely tucked it in a couple more degrees. I think right now you wouldn't have any issues turning and rubbing on this, but they definitely need to be trimmed up here, especially going a bit lower. I think if we close up this gap some, I don't know, we'll just have to check it out. We'll have to see when we lower it a little bit. Toes off a little bit, but we'll be able to adjust the alignment and stuff before going to the alignment place tomorrow. But at least for right now, I mean, it looks good. It's probably got a solid, like, I don't know, let's try this little Johnny, yeah? It's got eight beans.
We call it 8, we call it 8.
Bye, Dan. He has to go to work. Yeah, we definitely got to get the front down some. They look good, but the gap has to go. He's gonna turn that around, and we're gonna back it in so that we can work, because it's starting to rain already. As you can see, the cars are getting grody and wet. So these wheels definitely need a polish. If you haven't gone and watched the video where I polish the rivers on the LS, you can see how sparkly those things are from here. These definitely need it, and I think I'm gonna have Ty go to work on those Johnnies. So let's get to it, and I'm just praying that we don't run into any issues doing these rears. Every time I do rear upper control arms, I dread it. It's just not fun. So we're gonna try and play it smooth, play it smart today. All right, so we got the car backed in. We actually got the car up in the air, took the wheels off, and started cleaning off the stock rear upper. Totally forgot to test fit and see how much camber we actually need. It is pretty close, and like you guys saw, it's kind of how the front fit. It really kind of fit like when we put it on the ground, but we're gonna try and see. So, go slow. All right, slow. Stop. Oh, and there we go. It's touching just a little bit on the outside of the tire. And of course, we're gonna want the actual lip to tuck in as well. So I think what we're gonna do is, wherever the arms are, I think we're just gonna, the thing I wanna test out is I want to take the arm, I'll grab them in a second, and once we take off the stock upper, put it on the ground, take the aftermarket rear upper, max it out completely as it is, put it next to each other. If there's about like 3/4 inch of a difference, we'll slap it in as it is. If there's not that much of a difference, what we're gonna do is probably take off one of the locking rings, still leaving 2. We'll allow it to lock on both sides and hopefully achieve the camber that we're looking for. So we do have just the toe arm on top of the rear upper, and that is just so we can get in alignment. To fit bigger wheels, you have to get camber from the upper. If you get it from the lower, it's just going to kick the bottom out, and there's no way to actually tuck the wheel. So by spending less money, because he's not going big camber, then we just needed an upper to pull the top of the wheel in and to get a correct alignment. That's why we got just the toe arm. So time to put it back in the air. We'll start taking this stuff apart, and we'll match them up in a couple. Like an hour and a half later, so looks like a tornado rolled through here. We ended up getting the butane torch out. We got some pliers going on, but as you can see, we have the rear upper off. So it was a bit of a pain. What gave us the hardest part was actually getting the ball joint out of this. Finally got it out with the popper tool, and then the 2 bolts that go right here were like really bad. So Tyler's actually at the auto parts store getting 4 new bolts if he can find them, as well as returning a couple rental tools that we did. But here we have the phase 2 arms. I ended up taking off, where is it, one of the locking nuts, just because, well, it wasn't as short as I thought. So I put them up next to each other. Looks like a pretty big difference, but I ended up standing them up. I put the ball joint as straight as possible, and then I measured from this crown all the way down, and from the ground up it's 10 inches, meaning from where this is 10 inches, and then I did the same for this, and it's 11 inches. So maxed out right now. The rear upper is going to be an inch shorter, which in turn should give him about, I would say, maybe -9 or so. And then we're, of course, able to adjust from the middle to push it out some and take away some camber if we want. But we're going to end up putting that together and then do the toe arm, just so we're not taking a bunch of arms apart and it hard to deal with it. We're going to put that back in, everything together, then mess with the toe arm. Coming over to this side, I don't have a light, but we ended up getting this out, so I'm going to work on the 2 bolts that are in the back. Once those are out, hopefully Ty will be arriving about then. But as you can see, I mean, we literally have the air hammer out. We have some electric tools. We got some vice grips because I had to hold the ball joint inside of the upper where it goes into the knuckle because it just kept free spinning. But that is about it. So update time, it is actually 3:12, so not too bad. We had Dan come over, kind of been taking it slow, Ty and I, just to make sure that everything goes smooth, and not bad. Run to a couple hiccups, but we knew that was gonna happen. I hate doing rear uppers, but oh well, once it's done, it's done. So I will catch up with you guys in a bit once Ty is back, and hopefully we're putting stuff together. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, just go straight. Keep going. Keep going. Stop. Yo. Yes, sir. This thing is coming out icy. So, just because we are checking in a bit later, we ended up getting the uppers back on. Everything's kind of tightened up. We're gonna show you exactly what we did in a little bit, just because we do still have to throw on the toe arms, but it is fitted. Rear's probably gonna maybe stay where it is. Front, we actually have Mr. Mark Sparks. He pulled up home visit and is going to be rolling the front fenders for us, so that we can go a little bit lower and won't worry about buckling any of this stuff. So we flipped it around so that he is in the garage, in the light, and out of the rain. It'll give us time to clean up. I'm stepping on stuff already, and then yeah, so we ended up getting new bolts for the upper control arm because taking them off, they weren't stripped, but they definitely needed to be replaced. So we ended up going to get a couple of them. I got one extra one right here. We just brought it to the auto parts store, got some duplicates of it, and we're able to put everything back. So next is putting on the tow arm, and then that will wrap it up. So we'll catch up with you guys in a little bit after the fronts are rolled, and when we finish up the rear, we're putting back up in the air so we can tighten everything back up and put the tow arms on as well. We did lower the front just a little bit, but especially compared to the rear, I think we're gonna lower it a little bit. Our goal initially was to get it like just to where it looks like it's fender to lip, but like it's just a little bit inside. With the camber, I think, I don't know, it maxed us out, or it's close to maxed out, so I think he's just gonna max out the coilover, and that should be about good. We might throw a slip on or a 15 on it down the road, and we'll get to that. So I guess after a long day, we're gonna try to finish up. So once it's in the air, we'll get these tow arms on. Again, these are Megan Racing tow arms. Just gonna put them to basically stock length, and then maybe adjust them from there. So we'll check it out. Shouldn't be too bad. Hope to just pop them in. And we are back. It's actually the next day. We took a break last night. It got late. It was like a solid 12 hours working on the car, but we came out today with the help of our dad. Shout out to our dad. Also shout out to Mark Sparks for coming out and doing a great job on these fenders. I hit him up, came out same day. It was raining, pulled it in, and he got them done. But we finally have everything together. The new tow arms are in. This one took us like 8 hours to do. So no, I think it was a solid like three hours to get out.
Probably like 7.
We ended up buying another sledgehammer just to try. We got the Sawzall, we got the angle grinder. We literally have everything to try to get it out. We ended up chopping it in half, just so that we could actually like hang on this and move it. But this is how it looked inside the actual vehicle. The inside where the eyelet was that the bolt goes through was actually seized, and as you can see, there's, you know, it's not coming out. So that's how it looked. It got stuck, and ended up cutting it out. So that is finally done. The last like hour or two, we've been just kind of wrapping everything up. All of the castle nuts have some cotter pins in them, and we made sure everything was tight. All of the like ABS line and stuff all zip tied away, and that's about it. So we're gonna throw the KFs on it. We'll put it on the ground. I did try and get the tow arm adjusted a little bit because he is going for an alignment tomorrow, but just because of how off that the rear alignment was, I think we're gonna throw the Genesis stocks on the rear so that he can at least drive there no problems, and then he'll throw on the KFs once actually at the shop. So I think this is gonna be us wrapping it up. We're gonna throw it on the ground and pull it out. It's kind of dark. We'll get some footage tomorrow, which you guys will see in about 20 seconds, where it's daytime, a little walk around, and then we'll try and get the alignment rack numbers, show how much camber we have, just from these upper control arms and from the front uppers. But that's about it. So I will catch you guys tomorrow when it's daylight, and we'll give you the full run through of the car all back together. And welcome back. It is actually a couple days later. Tyler and I were out for the weekend, but the car got aligned. So here it is on the ground. Alignment and all is good. What we did notice is we kept trying to lower the front. Also, don't mind the grossness of the wheels. They need to be polished and the car needs to be cleaned, but we kept trying to lower the front, and the reason why the gap initially stopped is because the spindle is not shortened. So basically the spindle is sitting up on the strut tower, so the front is a little bit bouncy, he said, but alignment is completely done. The specs came out to 8 degrees up front and -11 in the rear. We definitely probably could have matched them at 8, but we're gonna end up throwing on a small spacer up front and in the back. So we are finally glad that all of this was done. You guys saw that we had to cut apart the tow arm on this side, I believe it was. Definitely not a fun task, but glad to have my dad come out and help. KFs are looking great. We got a couple rollers. I'm gonna see if I can get those from Ty, and we'll throw them in here, but don't want to make this video too much longer. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Tell me what you like to see, because this video I tried to have it a little bit less of setting up the camera and just showing me working on it. Instead, I kind of, you know, was showing you the end of each step, or like once we got the arms in, once we got, you know, the uppers on and stuff. So and for those who have a Majesta, I hope this helped. Stateside, I hope it helped you get some parts. If you have any questions, hit me up on Instagram or leave a comment down below, and I will be more than willing to help. I also want to give a big shout out to Scooter again for giving me some intel on these arms, as well as sharing some websites to help be cross compatible for parts on Stateside's vehicles. So I will catch you guys on the next video. Hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, leave a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, and I'll see you guys later.